What's up YouTube, VR is here, and in today's video I'm so excited to present you with this new Kugoo S1 electrical scooter from thegeekbuying.com. This video is not sponsored by anyone, so you can expect my honest, open opinion about what I think about this electrical scooter. We will start from what are the basic stats, then we'll take a look of the quality of each and every component, we will explore how does it drive, and then I will compare it to the popular Xiaomi M365 electrical scooter. So stay tuned. In case you want to skip some parts of the video, I put the timeline into the description so you can just scroll forward. As I have stated before, I have purchased this scooter from geekbuying.com for $339 US, which is almost 300 euros. The scooter itself was in warehouse in Poland, therefore I didn't have to pay any import taxes. It arrived in about 5-6 days from Poland to Denmark, so I assume that shipping was quite good. The overall customer reviews are, I think, around 4.6 or something like that point, so it's people are quite positive about this scooter. The scooter came in a nice cardboard box, nicely packed, and it took me around 1 to 2 minutes to take it out of the box, assemble it for the first ride. These are some basic stats provided by the seller. So the Model S1 has 3 speed modes, 15, 25 and 30 kilometers per hour. It can go maximum 30 kilometers, and of course this will depend a lot on how much you weigh, what are the road conditions and what are the weather conditions outside. I can already tell you that with my 86, I guess with winter clothing, 90 kilograms, I will never reach 30 kilometers in the weather like it is right now outside, and it's 5 degrees of Celsius. But my daughter, who weighs less than 30 kilograms, I think she can easily do more than 30. She can go like 40 kilometers, as you can hardly notice battery running down while she's riding it. The maximum load is 120 kilograms. It has some waterproofness level. We will talk about that when we will do the video review and go around the scooter part by part, piece by piece. It has 8.5 non-pneumatic tires, and the braking distance is 4 meters. We'll do a test on that. Okay, it has OLED display, which is not the case on Xiaomi, and it has adjustable height of the steering wheel, and that actually was one of the reasons why I decided to purchase this scooter. It weighs 11 kg, and we talked a little bit about the price. Alright, now let's take a look how it works and how it looks in the reality. So first thing on the handlebar, there is a tiny button right here. If you press it, you can pull out the handle and put it like this. So when you fold the entire scooter, it takes so much less space. So the positive side, it takes less space, and the negative side is that those handles have a bit of, they are a little bit loose, and I don't know if it's possible to see it in this video, but they are a little bit shaking up and down, back and forth. So whenever you drive on the bumpy road or you quickly accelerate or brake, those handles start flickering and shaking, making extra noise and making you lose perfect control of your scooter. LCD screen, it has 5 buttons. You turn it on by pressing the middle button for 1.5 seconds. When it's on, you have your current, you have your voltage or your battery level, you have your trip duration and trip distance, and you have your speed here. There are also some red buttons to indicate if there are any errors. And alright, so the first button goes for horn. The second one changes the trip settings into odometer, so you could see how many kilometers you have done totally on this vehicle. The button number 4 switches on the front and rear light. Yeah, it's blinking, and when I press on the brakes, then it goes steadily on. Alright, and then the last one is to change the speed setting. So you can have 3 speed settings. Now we are number 2, and I can change it to number 3. All in all, the LCD screen is bright and nice. It's easy to see the information while you drive. The only problem is that all those 5 buttons are really hard to press. So for instance, my 7-year-old daughter, she's unable to switch the scooter on by herself. Okay.
Can I try speed too?
Yes. Can you press the button yourself or you need help? Try and press the button.
Speed?
Yeah, this one.
Speed.
Try. You can do it. Oh, you did it. Good job.
That's
The front light has 24 LEDs, which are highly effective in the dark. The lamp not only allows you to be seen by others in the traffic, but also allows you to see in the dark. Handlebar height adjustment mechanism is pretty simple and it just works. You simply undo this one, lift it up, and then there are those tiny knobs which you need to press in if you want to keep lifting it up. That's the top position. Don't forget to close that clamp and you're good to go. Great news is that when you drive, this clamp is pretty sturdy, so there is no flickering or any looseness or any extra motion which you wouldn't like to be here. Alright, so this place right here is where your controller lives. Yeah, a few cables coming in here, and here what we see here, it's our front suspension, and I don't know if I can show it on the video. Electric motor lives in the front wheel. Your battery lives down here in the casing, in the metal casing. So if you look from the bottom, you will see it's completely sealed from down here and from up there also. So no water, dirt or anything can get in through any of those gaps. The only place you can access the battery is the front cover here, which I will display you later in the video. Alright, next important thing is the folding mechanism, which is here. If I just try to press this handle right now without doing anything else, that's not gonna work. It's really hard. I saw people hitting it with lots of stuff, and please don't do that. The way you fold this scooter is, first you will need to apply some pressure to the back to hold it. Then you will need to push the steering from you, and only then you can press in that handle and easily fold your scooter just like that. When you fold your scooter down, it gets fixed on the rear fender, so it's quite easy to lift it and carry it away. If you want to unhook it, you need to press down the fender, then it goes up. So you just put it up like this, and if you apply again some pressure in the back and push the steering away from you, it will fix itself. There is a kickstand. I saw it already started moving a little bit. Here is the front battery access door, and just behind the rear suspension there is a, I don't know if I can focus my camera, but there is a second tiny door to access the battery compartment. So this is your rear suspension and the rear wheel, which has a fender working as a brake also. So the fender is a classic scooter brake, which is rubbish, by the way. So the front wheel is made of a kind of a hard rubber. It's not inflatable one, so it gives some vibrations when you drive. And the same story is with the rear one, but I think it's even harder. The rear one, it's a pure plastic wheel. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's very hard, and if the weather gets a little bit colder, then it becomes like hard like a rock. And when you drive on the sidewalk, it gives lots of noise and vibration. Last but not least is this tiny little hook on which you can put a little backpack or a shopping bag or something like that. It's a nice feature. And I guess this sums up the key features and overview of that scooter. And next we jump into quality, materials, and what you must do before you start really using that. One of the very first things I did when I purchased this scooter is inspected it quality-wise. First thing I did, I tried to tighten up each and every single bolt I could find on the scooter. And I have to admit there was not a single loose one. Thumbs up. So the materials look quite good. The plastics look sturdy. The scooter itself is made out of aluminium. Everything looks kind of okay, but there are still a few points that I would like to mention for you that you need to watch out for. One of the very first thing, that's the waterproofness. The seller says it has IP54 waterproofness rating. What I can tell you that this scooter has IP0 waterproof rating. So first things first. If you look right here into this gap, and I hope you can see that on the tiny camera. So this gap I had to reseal with silicone all the way around the LCD screen from all the sides. Otherwise there was like a 3 or 4 millimeter gap through which water can just freely enter your LCD and everything behind there. In the pictures you can see how did I mask it up with the blue masking tape, and yeah, just filled it with a black silicone and put it back in place. The second thing you need to do the same, it's here. So the controller in here, it's completely unsealed and completely unprotected from water. The water can enter through the corners, through the gaps here, all the way around, and so on. Completely the same situation is with battery. You can see in my pictures that I made when I purchased the scooter how much sealant was applied here. Now I have resealed everything here around the bolts and all the way around this seal here. However, if you will look at the rear suspension, there is plenty of sealant around the rear battery door, and I don't know why they put enough sealant on the rear one but didn't put enough on the front one. Okay, so there are at least 3 places which you need to reseal if you plan to use it in any rain. One more thing I nearly forgot to mention, just look at that picture. It's not only how much sealant, you can see the white sealant was applied here, but also the condition of cables. So someone in factory, when they were assembling this piece and when they put this black battery compartment cover, they nearly cut off the cable. Both of the cables were damaged, both the positive and negative one, and that was just a seconds before the short circuit. Next thing I recommend you do when you just purchase it, just remove this rubber piece and add some oil inside the front suspension, and then give it some time to work in, because when I just purchased this scooter, the front suspension was almost not working. Similar story is with the rear suspension. What I recommend is you oil it up here and you loosen up that bolt a little bit. The more you loosen that bolt, the softer your rear suspension becomes. When I just purchased the scooter, it was completely not working. So all in all, Kugoo S1 has a decent build quality. It's not really waterproof unless you seal some important parts here at the LCD screen, at the controller, and at the battery compartment. Watch out for some broken cables and some possible minor flaws. Other than that, it looks a decent build quality electric scooter. But now let's take a look on how does it perform on the street.
How fast can this go? 100 kilometers per hour? Look, when it goes so fast and then just stop, it's oh! And then I hit my head. Look how far you can go and how fast it fast.
One thing I can tell for sure, this scooter accelerates really fast. However, at the top speed, it's pretty hard to reach the promised 30 kilometers per hour for my weight. Now, if my son or my daughter rides the scooter, they can easily do that, no problem whatsoever, if they use the third speed. One thing to mention that I don't know if this scooter needs any more speeds, at least I don't plan to do any upgrades to make it faster, because when you drive it at 25 or more kilometers per hour on those plastic or hard rubber wheels, it feels that that's kind of already a limit which I wouldn't really love to exceed. The video you see below, it's not really high quality, but I just shot it this morning in order to see how fast can I go. So this was a really good quality road, and you can see my phone with Endomondo app on, so it shows the GPS speed, and I am currently driving with the cruise control on and full throttle all the time. So I reached 26 when almost 27 kilometers an hour. See you later. The braking test. You see that black line? So this black line will be where I will start braking, and then we will see where I will stop. I don't know if that's 4 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's more like 8 meters, and I was driving 22, 23, not 30 kilometers an hour. Definitely the brakes is not the strongest point of this scooter. This scooter accelerates really fast, and it reaches quite quickly speeds of 26-27 kilometers per hour. I was able to reach speed of 30-31, measured with my GPS going downhill and downwind. However, this speed of 26-27 is enough. Just remember that you have a bouncy ride due to the plastic wheels, you have a little bit loose handles, and you have a really bad brakes. So all in all, speed 26-27 gives you a pleasant ride. That's more than enough. I don't need any more. Now range, it depends on your weight and the conditions. With my 95 kilograms and plus 5 degrees outside, I can do 10-15 kilometers right now, while my daughter can do 27-30 kilometers, I guess. And one thing to mention, after riding the scooter a little bit longer, it is really fun to ride. Do you like riding it?
Yeah.
So is it fun to ride?
Yeah, but it's very hard to control.
I want to ask you something. Which scooter is better for you? This one or your mommy's?
This one.
And why?
Because I can go fast.
So it's faster than mommy's?
Speed 3.
Which one would you ride?
This one or the other one?
Yeah, this one or yours? Why?
I can't control this at all.
Alright, so one final thing I want to do in this video is to check it out. How does the Kugoo S1 stack against Xiaomi M365? For the beginning I put 3 scooters so you can better see what actual size they are. This is Hudora big wheel, this is Kugoo S1, and this is Xiaomi M365. Or when you fold them, Kugoo is much smaller, at least in width, than M365. They both should fit in the trunk of the car, but if you really tighten space, Kugoo might be the choice for you. The second big difference you might notice, that's the size of the wheels. So Xiaomi has 10-inch and Kugoo has 8.5-inch wheels. Furthermore, wheels of Kugoo are not inflatable, therefore result in much bumpier ride and much noisier ride than M365. One more thing to mention, that's the handles. As M365 doesn't have folding handles, they are stable overall. When you hold on your bars, it feels like you have something very stable in your hands, and that's not the case with Kugoo because those handles are a little bit shaky. One more key difference between those two electric scooters is that Xiaomi M365 has a rear disc brake, which together with the motor brake in front results in really effective and efficient braking, which is not the case in Kugoo S1. The brakes are much less effective, the rear kick brake is not really working that well, and only the engine brake, it's not good enough. And the final one is the build quality. If you look at Xiaomi, there are no such things as places which you need to reseal for some reason, which is not the case with Kugoo all over the place. This is a patch of the glue that came from factory. I don't know what they were gluing, but this is something extra. You can see little scratches and dirt everywhere, which is not the case on Xiaomi. So you add one extra €100 to get Xiaomi, but you also get some extra quality for that price. Okay, so one more thing that is left to figure out is if Kugoo S1 is faster than Xiaomi M365. For that purpose, I took stock Xiaomi M365, I took Xiaomi M365 with downloaded custom firmware that adds extra power, and I took Kugoo S1 and made this comparison for you. As you can see, Xiaomi M365 with custom firmware, it's definitely not slower than Kugoo S1, and it's much more softer on the road. It has better control, better brakes, and I think the build quality is better. If you think I deserve a thank you for making this video, hit that like button, and if you would like to see more like those, subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the really final thing to cover is the comparison table that is provided on the seller's website. So they compare Kugoo S1 with Xiaomi M365 themselves. So let's take a look what do they see. So the speeds on Xiaomi it's 18 and 25, and on Kugoo it's 15, 25 and 30. And we know that 30 is hard to reach on Kugoo, and on Xiaomi with a firmware update you can really exceed those speed limits easily. Maximum mileage, they put the same. Now I want to note that on Xiaomi you have 7.6 ampere hour battery, and on Kugoo you have only 6 ampere hour battery, so I have some doubts. Motor power, they put 350 watts on Kugoo, but you need to know that this is the 250 watts on Xiaomi, this is the nominal power. You have a 500 watt peak motor in the front wheel, and you have 350 peak motor in the Kugoo. Yeah, so it's not exactly true. Maximum load 100 kilogram and 120 here. Looking at the build quality, I would rather load more on Xiaomi than on Kugoo. And maximum torque, it kind of reflects the engine, right? So otherwise there are some mystics here. So how come they have more powerful engine which is producing less torque? Doesn't make sense for me. By the way, this is the actual speed graph from my right. So I maxed out 35.3 on Xiaomi, and I could only max out 31.3 on Kugoo. While the average is it's better, but that was much shorter ride than this one. Alright, so they have both a IP54 waterproof level, and we know that Xiaomi has much better waterproof readiness. Can't comment on gradient of climb. The wheel size, I don't know why they put it the same. Visually the wheels look much different. Non-pneumatic tire, so you can't get a puncture, but here you get the comfort. So I would rather take some comfort and load some slime into the tires in case of the puncture than ride the plastic ones. Xiaomi has app and doesn't have LCD screen, while it's a different story on Kugoo. They don't have app, but they do have LED screen. Another big deal is the adjustable height of the handlebars, which Xiaomi doesn't have, and for me that was the choice of the scooter. I had to take the Kugoo just in order so my daughter can ride it. Kugoo is lighter, and I didn't test out the weight, and it's around 100 euros or $100 cheaper than Xiaomi M365. I guess we covered it all. I hope you enjoyed the video. I can see you. Bye bye.